Right,
whatsoever,
right,
right?
and none of my other trees, of course.
Seems like those ash trees start at the top.
With emerald ash, it goes from the top
Right,
down.
and this wasn't emerald ash, this was something, and it could have come from a county, but it's great something.
Going live, all right.
It automatically schedules itself.
All right,
Boy, nothing's gonna come yet.
we're 7 o'clock. Go
You guys are
ahead
chatting.
and call the meeting to order. Start with roll call.
Hey, Randall.
Here.
Miles.
Here.
Anderson.
Here.
Graham.
Here.
Poodle.
Here.
Espinoza. Here. And Wheelie is absent.
All right, look for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Second.
The motion second to approve tonight's agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Look for approval of the minutes from the June 16th, 2026 meeting.
I'll make a motion.
I will second.
Motion second to approve the minutes of the June 16th, 2026 meeting. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Public comments. I know none of you are here to comment on a non-agenda item. We have a little bit of time to work here. Mr. Clarke.
All right, residential, we have 13 open single-family home permits, and 1 twin home. Commercial, quick trip, we've done 2 frame inspections, one of the shell and then one of the interior framing. We have a new permit that was issued for the industrial park. It's called the Byram Shops. So they're going to put a kind of a building and then an office, and then they're going to have some like 4 shops to it.
That's in North Oaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12, that's right at the corner of Western and Oaks.
And 12th Street.
Yeah.
Yep.
Across from the white structure.
Just right down from the water tower. Along with
Yeah,
there.
right across
Yep.
from ATS, essentially, or across the street.
No, it's going to be
Down further.
on Western and 12th. So if you would like turn to go to the
Oh,
water
Western and
tower.
12th. Okay,
yeah,
yeah, sorry.
It's going to be right on that
That's where the
south
detention
east corner, huh? Huh?
That's where the detention pond is. On the south side where,
No, it'd be on the north. So this
That's
is
where-
north.
north of the
part
detention
12.
pond.
Yes, it'd be north of the detention pond, yep.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
need to know.
Detention pond's more to the south.
Correct.
Yeah.
Detention pond's on the corner of Western and 12th.
True. I just say this should be Western and Oaks, because it's Oaks that comes up. So yeah, I would say it wrong. It's Western and Oaks, so yep. there.
Okay.
Just trying to nail that down because
Yeah, exactly.
the lot on the corner by the detention pond.
Right, right, yep.
And then Black Tie Corporation did a permit for an interior remodel, so we haven't called yet on that one. And that's about it, commercial, I think, so.
A while back, we had asked you to look into this house over here on the corner of First and Munt.
Yes, and their deadline's tomorrow, so I'll get back with you on the next meeting.
Okay,
Yes,
just wanted
tomorrow.
to catch an update on that.
Yeah, so we sent him a letter, and this time it was pretty straightforward and firm, that it's something that he hasn't come in on this weekend. So July 1st is his deadline, 5 o'clock, to either get a permit to rehabilitate the current house or take it down.
Friends and homes.
They'll have a year. So we'll see what his goal is, whether he's going to try to rehabilitate what he has, but I don't think that's what he said he wanted to do. So he could get a raising permit and take it down. So you want to add more to it?
No, I haven't been contacted at all by him, so.
So we'll have an update next time we have a meeting, which I think July 14th.
Have we had any updates, inspections, looks at, or whatever on our house catty corner across
So,
here?
I haven't seen anything from Kyle or myself, so.
I haven't seen from either one an inspection report. So.
He's been more closely tied with that gentleman, so.
I haven't seen really any work being done either.
Correct.
Like I say, we sit here all day and I don't see them there.
We're
Unless
all-
it's being done on the weekend, but every time I go by there, I don't see anybody around.
I'm just curious if there's any progress being made there. This board was awfully generous and nice in taking the condemnation off of that house and working with him to not have to take it down. And I feel like it's stalled badly now.
Yeah, I'll give him a call.
Like
And
glass.
then we have
They're
another,
pretty straightforward though, with, you know, like, you're gonna go down this rabbit hole.
right.
But I think he got done what he had to do.
I think it's brought it up
Pulling
to
out
code.
a permit.
Yeah.
He has pulled the second permit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
He did?
yeah.
so there isn't really a requirement to move forward, is there?
Not officially, he's got a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And then you pull another permit?
You keep pulling if he wants to keep paying for it, I
Yeah,
guess.
exactly. I mean,
He wants to keep- He'll get charged every time he pulls one, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else for Mr. Clarke? Anything else you had, Mr. Clarke?
No, sir.
Thank you. We're past 7:05. We'll move into our 7:05 conditional use hearing, erection of a Shouse on Tract 3 of Lufco Edition. Teresa, do you want to give us staff report?
Okay, like I said, this is a conditional use hearing. We received an application from Gary Spear. I'm trying to think that right, is that? Sperber, there you go. I knew that after I said it. As you know, this is on the lot that is along Mickelson Road, east of Western. It's about 3/4 of a mile west of Western Avenue. We had rezoned that lot. It was originally in the city as A. We rezoned it to residential. Keeping in mind, they want to move forward with purchasing the lot and putting a Shouse on it is what they indicated. So the lot has been rezoned. This is the next step, the conditional use hearing. We went through the regulations for Shouse. We adopted those a couple of years now ago. We have those regulations. Looks like they can meet all of them. The one says that they've got to meet our current standards for a single-family home. Now, as we look into it a little bit more, Gary did show me a picture of the Shouse, and that is in your packet. It's going to be still siding, still roof. That is allowed. But after we're talking a little more for this hearing, he has indicated that the roof will have exposed fasteners, and that is not allowed in our regulations. That's been in our regulations for quite a few years. I think it was more or less for people that were already in established neighborhoods. We wanted them to not have those panels so they wouldn't have those exposed fasteners, so that's why it was put in place. Now that we've adopted regulations for Shouses, we didn't change any of those standards specifically for Shouses. Like I said, he can meet all the other regulations, except for that one. So as part of the conditional use hearing, he would like to see if we would consider deviating from that regulation. We don't have this no exposed fastener requirements on the siding. I don't think that was ever an issue, so it never got into our regulations to begin with, but we do on the roofing. So does it make sense or not? I don't know. And talking with Kyle a little bit, and maybe Paul can attest to this, most Shouses do have this steel design with the exposed fasteners. I don't know if you've done many.
Probably out
I
in
don't
the
know.
county. They're not allowed in Brandon, but they're certainly ran across, in the 4 years I was in the county, for sure. And they don't have any kind of regulations like that, so it was standard procedure.
So is this, we're doing a conditional use to allow the Shouse, and then do we have to have a second conditional use?
No,
for
I think we can do it
exposed
all in this
fasteners?
one because you're gonna either approve it as applied for,
Okay.
or you're gonna put different
So-
conditions on it or amend it so it can be part of the approval process.
Question back for staff. Why do we not allow exposed fasteners?
Like I said, it's been in our regulations, I think since I started with the city, so 20 years ago.
Okay.
And I assume it was always for kind of aesthetics. Back then, there wasn't a lot of metal roofs. As you know, they're getting more and more popular just because of maintenance and durability. I think, the norm back then is most neighborhoods had asphalt shingles, and when people come in to put metal roofing, we wanted to, number one, make sure they weren't the corrugated metal roofing over the nice. And we just wanted to have it more look, for aesthetic reasons, a little nicer. Like I said, that was put in place when I was here. That is kind of what I've been told the background. But that's, before Shouses became popular, that's before, a lot of metal roofs were even being put in. It's kind of a different ballgame we're looking at here now.
I mean, in this exact situation, I'm like, why is it, I mean, no harm, no foul, no issue
That's
whatsoever.
what I put in my report. I don't see for a standard Shouse design would probably have this, especially like where he's gonna put it. He's on a large lot, out of town quite a bit, over 5 acres. It will not ruin the aesthetics of the neighborhood. He's surrounded by farm homes out there with metal sheds and whatnot, so I don't think that it would, hamper or have, any issues arise from any neighboring property. I think we will, like I put in a report, be dealing with future Shouses coming up. I know we have development east of town is going to have larger lots, and I've heard a couple people talk about wanting to put Shouses up there too. So it is something that's going to become more and more popular. We're probably going to have more within the city.
I think back to a comment that Travis Keel made to me when I first came on to P&Z, and he said, you can't zone ugly. I realize we have developments coming in, whatever. It almost seems to me that whether you have screws in the sheeting on the roof is more a development thing than us having it in zoning.
Yeah, that could be a covenant, something.
Like I say,
It
that
should be more of a covenant in the development than it is.
Yeah, if they don't want it in their development in their neighborhood, it could be more of a covenant thing. And a lot of the covenants have stipulations on, what material
Well-
they need to use and build or whatnot. Obviously, this isn't under any covenants,
I know of a couple of our developments in town that you can't do a metal roof because of the covenants.
Right, you can't even do metal roofs completely, covenants, so, I definitely agree with that.
I mean, I look at this myself and I'm like, it's a slam dunk. Why wouldn't we? I don't see anything whatsoever that would have us say, no, you can't.
Like I said, I don't see where it's gonna, be offensive to the neighborhood at all. It is a typical Shouse design.
Mark and I are just talking,
Yeah.
the commercial buildings have this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, commercial buildings
Like
can have it on.
apartments, new
Yeah, we
buildings,
just have this
HVAC.
regulation for single-family dwellings.
So I don't see the difference. Why would we signal out residential homes versus a commercial
Have
building?
you ever drove past a commercial building and went, wow, those fasteners on the roof sure are ugly? No.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't think anybody even noticed. I'm like,
Especially when it's a high roof, like I see this is gonna be 20 feet off the ground.
and if you look in the packet, the design, I mean, it's very nicely designed building. I mean, obviously in the picture, you couldn't tell the exposed out. You're probably never going to see on the roof there.
Right. Well, if you put white roofing and black fasteners.
Yeah, maybe you would then. I doubt he's going to do that.
It's the only way I see that happening.
Yeah.
Other thoughts from the board?
I think if we are requiring that in our ordinance, we need to take a look at the ordinance and change that.
I think there's valid discussion to have on that going forward.
Yeah, I think going forward, that.
Yeah, for now, I would say let's approve that part of it.
Can you make that a motion?
Well, do I have to make a motion for the whole thing?
Just approve CUP
As submitted.
as submitted.
I would make a motion to approve the COP for the roofing exposed.
No, just for the Shouse
For the
application is submitted.
Yep,
Okay.
that's part of the application, so approve as submitted.
The motion and a second to approve. How come we don't have a CUP number on this?
You don't? I must have wrote that later after I took your copies. I have a number on it.
Application number 20.
Well, I will put it in the minutes.
You'll put it in the minutes.
612.
612, CUP 612. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. Espinoza.
Yes.
Kudel.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Miles.
Yes.
Randall, yes.
Okay.
Approved. Thank you.
Don't forget to send, you're all welcome to come shoot some hoops, get some baseball.
Shoot some hoops.
They were playing the full basketball party.
Go.
I can.
Or how does, or does he just come to you?
Yeah, I think it's coming to me. I mainly just send it to the county and then that's what we do. Okay. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, have a good night, guys.
We have no old business. We'll move to new business. Review proposed amendments to zoning regulations. First one is draft ordinance 773, amend section 12.03, accessory building regulations.
And this was to match national public.
Yeah, we talked about, we had the requirement for, 150 square feet can have metal roofs on it. It was just a random number picked out by CCOG, put it on there. We were finding more and more pre-built homes are having those metal roofs. Kyle noted that the international building codes don't even put regulations for anything under 200 square feet. So we talked about maybe we should bump that up to 200 square feet. So that is, if you look at in your packet in red, that's number 8. That's changing that where you have to have like materials, changing that from the 150 square feet, bumping it up to the 200 square feet like we talked about. And as reading through this, I also changed number 7 where it says if 2 accessory buildings are constructed, one must be no larger. It had that 150 square feet in there again. I think we should bump up that up to 200 too, just to stay consistent. So we know basically regulations are kind of that 200 square feet is where we start looking at, having to meet certain regulations with the city. So this is the proposed changes to accessory buildings. And it's an ordinance change, so, if you approve, it would be a recommendation to the city council. We would have to go through that whole process.
It
Discussion.
makes sense, we've already had 2 people have to come in and get us to approve just to, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. That's what we discussed, it just.
Yeah.
And we're just going to match IBC, so.
Yep. Yeah, they're just gonna kind of match that. 200 square feet is where they kind of draw the line and start regulating them.
I'm not looking for busy work, I don't know if you guys are.
Nope.
So can I make a motion to recommend approval to the city council for draft ordinance?
Yeah,
number
and what we do,
773?
Steve, all these.
You want to do them all together?
Obviously, no, let's talk about each of them separate, because there's
Okay.
different components. But
Yeah.
just to let you know, these are all ordinance changes, so it will all have that same process of going through
Okay.
the public hearing and the city council with. So if you're good with the changes, just approval of the changes, recommend approval of the changes.
Okay, yeah.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion. Seeing none, we'll vote. Miles.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
Espinoza.
Yes.
Kudel.
Yes.
Randall. Yes. Move on to 774.
Okay. So 774 and 775 are kind of our camper regulations that we talk about. I said before, brought to our attention, we don't allow campgrounds basically now into any zoning districts as a permitted use or conditional use. We used to way back when we did an ordinance update or a zoning update, it got dropped somewhere. And I don't think that was intentional with the city, I think, because we used to allow it, it was called general business back then, but it's our community commercial. So, but when we did our 2011, I think, updates, and we changed to permitted uses and conditional uses, it wasn't showing up in any zoning district. So we had the discussion of, do we want to allow campgrounds? We decided, yeah, probably in our city ground, it would make sense, or in commercial. I mean, obviously, we don't want them in residential, districts to that. We want to, don't want to be invasive to the residents and whatnot. So, the only place campgrounds are even mentioned in our current ordinances, like I said, and they're not permitted or conditional, but it mentions it under manufactured home districts. It says, for a campground, you need to get a license, and then it has a definition of a campground. Well, it's kind of a moot point because it's not a permitted use or conditional use. And as talking with CCOG, I think we want to remove all wording of campgrounds in manufactured homes, because campgrounds, I think we want to be temporary residents. We don't want to make them permanent residents in a manufactured home park, if you agree with that. So
Yes.
Basically,
Some of
774.
them are better than manufactured.
If it's really been
don't
there,
disagree,
they're gonna
but-
be a permanent, they're gonna try to be permanent, so.
Just the-
774, basically, that's what we're doing, two-step, takes out the wording in the manufactured home district, takes out the definition and that wording for needing to get a license. So basically, it just eliminates all wording in manufactured home about campground. So it kind of cleans that one up. So passing of this would take out the definition, which we have X out, and then it'll take out wording about needing a license. So if we want to approve that, then we can move on and talk about ordinance 775, which is our campground regulations proposing.
I make a motion to change that wording, to get rid of that wording.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to amend section 5-04 in the manufactured housing residential district, draft ordinance 774. Any further discussion? We'll vote. Anderson?
Yes.
Kudel?
Yes.
Graham?
Yes.
Espinoza?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Randall?
Yes. And move on to draft ordinance 775, amend section 3.02, 7.02, 8.02, 12-20, and 20-02 travel trailer campgrounds.
So that's a lot, but basically, this is then adding campgrounds as a conditional use into our zoning districts. Basically, section 1, that 3.02 would add it, and they're all going to be added as conditional uses, so they'll need to come to the board if they want to have a campground and go over, their plan with you, and you guys can put certain conditions on it. None of them are permitted uses. So section 1 basically adds it as a conditional use for NRC area, so parkland or eggland or whatnot, which seems to make sense. Section 2 would add it to our community commercial district, which would be in a business district. Section 3, mistake there, adds it to our regional commercial. So our commercial district, we have neighborhood commercial, we have community commercial, and regional commercial. They're just a little more intense uses as you go up. Well, this would add it to regional commercial. We did not add it to neighborhood commercial because basically that's kind of like a little strip mall in the middle of a residential neighborhood. I don't think a campground would fit in very well surrounded by residents. So we didn't add it to neighborhood commercial. So just community commercial and regional commercial. Section 4, basically, it talks about the regulations, and we can kind of go through them one by one because it's in the ordinance. Those are what they got to abide by. Section 5 basically adds a definition for campground, travel trailer, and section 6 adds a definition of what a camping unit is, so what a camper is. So I think it's pretty straightforward. The most discussion, I think, is looking at our regulations, and this is CCOG kind of drafted it by looking at different communities, what they have put in place. So if you look at this 12.20, these are the suggested regulations. And you get a chance to look at it, but basically, A is occupancy, can't be there more than 30 days in the calendar year. B basically says the campground has to meet all the regulations for the Department of Health. Location, C is location, can't be next to a residential district, so we don't want it right next to homes and houses there. And then D is kind of the site standards, so within the campground, basically, it's talking about, the minimum distance between pads and how long the pads have to be. Basically, each one has to have their own driveway to it, their own separate site. The campground has to provide, water and sanitary sewer service to it, have to be paved surfaces. So those are all basically the regulations of what you have to include in the campground if you're going to put one up. So that's open for discussion. These are suggested regulations.
So our jurisdiction goes out how far from Hartford?
City limits.
Well, the city limits, and it's kind of jagged no matter which way you go, but, so this would
I was
govern
thinking-
what's in city limits.
Scops is outside of our area,
They're not the city limits, correct?
Right.
because I thought we had anything within 3 miles of the city.
Not for zoning.
No, for zoning supply.
We have plating jurisdiction.
Right, yeah, yeah. If anybody wants to plat within that, basically 3 miles of the city, they got to get approval from the city. But basically, we can only pass an ordinance to regulate regulations inside city limits. So this would be just what's in city limits.
Okay.
Have you had
Thoughts?
inquiries of people wanting to do it?
Well, that's what I said. I had one gentleman inquire about a campground, so I said, well, I'll have to look up the regulations, see what we got, and as I started looking, it's like, and I knew we had some way back when, it's like, it's not allowed in any district, so that kind of
Well, I
started
know
this whole
when
rule.
Mark Monahan used to be on here, he wanted it in the park. And I know my mother was not real pleased, because he
Oh, I
wanted it to be
know.
right behind her house, so, yeah.
So we've got a long list for how many years without a campground?
True, yeah.
I know we have a permanent campground on the north end of town. So I'm just.
Do we have an ordinance about sleeping in your camper overnight?
Do you,
We do. I mean, as far as you can't like have a camper and park it, in your residence, and you can't be in it more than 7 days for, permanently living in it. So we do have a municipal ordinance that regulates that, those kind of things, yeah.
We used to sleep in a tin shed in our backyard, nobody got any in trouble for that.
I think we still let kids put tents up in their backyard.
Yeah. That's still legal? Okay, good.
Do we need a motion to approve ordinance number 775?
Well,
probably,
Well, you can go ahead and make the motion if you want. Because we can discuss, we
you
can
can
have
have
more
more
discussion.
discussion, yeah.
Wondering if we needed to have a motion before
Yes.
we're done here.
We would have to recommend it.
Yeah, I'll need some guidance of whether you're good with this, or if you want to make changes, or, how you want to make.
Brad's a little over on the fence over here.
All of these
I know
will,
we can do that.
all of these will come back to us for hearing
Yes.
because they're just drafts right now.
Yeah, exactly. These are all just drafts for discussion. So the process is, and any ordinance change, zoning ordinance is that, then I got a public hearing that'll come before you guys, then a public hearing that'll go before the city council, and then the city council has 2 ordinance readings, one with the public hearing and then the second one. So it's a process still. So it will come back to you guys again.
So a motion now is just to go forward with the draft ordinance to a hearing.
Or make amendments or change.
Yeah, I would wonder, shouldn't we say anything about like a restrooms or a bathhouse or a playground or
Yes, and
something?
that's all.
I mean, all
up to
this does is
discussion, yeah.
identify the little piece of land that you're gonna put your camper on.
and you got 10 feet of spacing.
You know, the
That's
campground to me is
minimum,
way
10
more
feet of
than.
spacing between campers.
I mean, at number 6, it does say you have to supply it with water and sewer, and basically you have to provide, garbage dumpster service.
Does that include your slide
One for
outs?
every 25 campsites. There's nothing in there about playgrounds or area like
Or
that.
rest
Take away from the next camper?
Yeah, or
You know.
shower, area.
Electricity. Cable
Travel trailer
TV.
campground shall be supplied
That's-
with city
I mean,
water, sanitary
That's up to the guy
services.
building the campground
Says
in there,
in
it's basically put some
Yeah. but
slide
that
outs
doesn't
out.
need electricity.
Nobody's gonna rent the
But you aren't
space.
gonna build a campground without power?
No,
Nobody will come.
nobody will come, because we're gonna run your AC.
Not nowadays, not with all the big campers
Yeah.
out
And
there.
that's up to whoever wants to
But that's
develop
up-
this.
Right.
And, if they're not gonna put those amenities in, then you're not gonna have people show up, so.
Right.
So then why specify that you're gonna have a spot to park a car?
Well, that would be,
Because we don't want cars parked on the road blocking traffic for emergency services to get in there.
You don't want them running down to Sunshine using their restrooms either.
I just say, I am not, as little as you can put into something like this as you have to do this and you have to do that, the better off it is.
I don't see a need for it, period.
campground,
Yeah.
I just don't, like most cities either have a lake or river running through town, or, something that
If you look out to North Cliff and Sioux Falls, like on the north side of 90, east of Cliff, there's a campground there, and there's
It's full.
probably 30, 40 spots, and they're full. It's people that are, you know, working road construction or traveling.
Going through town or just, yeah.
Yeah, if you're traveling long distance, you park there overnight. But if you're, you know, working at, you know, CJ Foods for a year and a half, you drag your camper to town and set up. I think there is with traveling workforce, there is a need for some of that where you're just gonna have those utility hookups for people that are can hang out, you know, for a longer period of time and then leave.
I have,
But yeah, if you're gonna go camping with your family, you're
Yeah.
not gonna set up shop off of
North Cliff. or-
North
yeah, yeah,
Cliff and,
Typically.
no, I have a friend of mine in Alabama who's developing out when he's done, he'll have 280 some campsites in that campground. He's got 130 right now. And it is all, as you're talking about, it's all workforce. People don't, I mean, he's got a nice place, and he's got a pond, and he's got a rec hall, and put a bunch of those amenities in. But it's not people to bring the families to come camping. He has people that sign year-long leases to put their camper there, because they're in town doing a construction project, and they're traveling workforce. They follow a contractor to every job that they go to.
yeah, we've done all projects, same situation. They drive their camper to town and they're there for 3 months and.
I
There's
think
quite a
this
few.
is,
You go down to Yankton, there's quite a few down there, and they're not on the lake, they're away from the lake. There's brand new
Right,
campers
there's
that are bought, but
almost-
they have
Well, I don't think we want
long-term
that.
leases in there.
I was gonna say, this was geared more towards, I think, the recreational
pools and
and not the
everything else.
workforce, because we, number one basically says you can only be there 30 days out of a whole year. So I
Okay.
think this is written more for recreational camping
Well,
versus work.
And that being the case, we don't need a recreational campground, because what recreation is here to draw people to recreational?
Well,
campground?
and like Brad said, you know, we don't have any community of a lake or
You know,
Right.
or-
river or.
And we don't need to overrun our pool the way it is, because.
I mean, yeah, you sometimes have like flood zones, right, or they'll put a campsite in or next to the lake or river that runs through town, and it's no other
Yeah.
use, right? You might as well try to get some revenue out of that little area, right, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't see.
That's Turtle Creek.
I
so-
will note,
Hot
Kyle
dog
says
fish.
Lennox has a campground, a municipal one, and they're closing it down.
Who does?
Lennox.
Do they do?
Yeah, they're gonna, it is too
I see
much
Humboldt-
maintenance and headaches.
I see
to
Humboldt added a
be
bunch
worth it.
around their park,
On the south side of the park,
on the south side of the park, they added a bunch.
A bunch of what?
campsites.
Campsites around their city park down there by the, kind
There's
of just by the
probably-
school.
There's probably 10 there.
Yeah, 10 back in there, they're tight, but they're back there.
Well, doesn't Montrose also right there by the river?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're right by the river. They have their, Monroe's has.
Yeah.
A bunch
Decent
right down by the
campground
river, by the
outside.
softball fields and
Yep, by the
stuff.
soft, yep.
Humboldt
By their
for
pool.
Back and
baseball,
then
maybe?
along the railroad,
Yeah.
south side of the railroad, all the way down.
Maybe.
Just to make money on Humboldt, I don't know.
So far at Humboldt, I haven't had to go around a camper in any of those campsites yet when I fertilize the park.
There was nobody in there as of yesterday. so.
Just saying.
But I just don't know a recreational campground in Hartford.
Well, I
I'm
don't
not a
know.
fan of the idea.
A recreational campground, probably not, but if he's talking to
Yeah.
mobile transit people coming to
Well, that would
work.
be something off the Highway 38 access with a,
Yeah.
you know, that I could see, but right in town.
Yeah, even Sioux Falls where you mentioned, that's not in town.
But even
There's
out
another
there,
one
you're
on the
out there
west
by
side, like
Opal and
on
stuff,
Wall
most
Street.
people don't want a campground out
The
there.
Tower campground
No, no,
Right.
City limits goes to
I don't think
on
residents are gonna
12th
want a
and
campground
I-29, and
They're
their
gonna have to
billboard out front
strategically
says
place it.
There's a
annual
reason they
leases,
should go camping,
Yeah,
open
that's,
year-round annual leases available.
right? I mean,
It used to be a mobile home park. right?
Trailer park, that's where I first moved to Sioux Falls, right there.
Does it? Friday doesn't have one?
state
Yeah,
park.
that's right, you have the state park right there.
Brandon's got a state park, so.
Somebody can put one out by Wall Lake.
I mean, that's to me,
I mean, if I was in favor of this and I wanted to have it right, Section A, I would take out the 30, more than 30 days in a year. I wouldn't have a regulation of how long you can park your camper there.
Because they'll rent them for a year.
Well, and even, I mean, recreational otherwise, if my camper sits there for 30 days or it sits there for a year, and it's a campground, what's the harm or the foul?
Right.
Plus, it may be hard for the code enforcement officer to regulate that.
Absolutely.
Good
Yeah, it
thinking.
No, we moved it forward.
I mean,
Yeah, they
that's,
moved it.
yeah, I'll just move, well, yeah. Number one, I'll just move to the site next door. Me and my buddy will trade places.
Right.
I mean,
No, I've not been in the same spot for over
The-
30 days.
more than 30 days in one calendar year is kind of like, can't use your cell phone while you're driving. We have ordinances all over the place that say it. Has it ever stopped anybody from doing it? And it's an enforcement nightmare. But those that passed the ordinance or the law, they felt really good about
Our
it.
luck, they put it where that car lot is on Highway 38. Didn't make it. Now it'll be a campground.
Another one
For 3 campers.
with 3 campers. No, it can't because it's adjacent to residential.
That is true.
Scott Young lives
On the
in-
south, yeah. so-
Scott Yount lives
Okay,
between the
that's
church
good.
and the car
That's
lot.
good.
Yeah, I don't like that handout.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I just don't know.
I have no idea.
I'm not a fan.
I just don't see a
Glad to see it.
place in town.
Yeah, I can't think of any place in town where it would work.
Well, if you can't be by residential, I mean, that kind of rules out
Right.
most.
A lot of,
Hartford-
yeah,
Hartford,
exactly.
yeah,
A lot of areas.
Considering where we've got residential
Well,
town, or,
But
So
on the other,
you guys can't go down.
I don't want to
Minnetonka
see it
County.
anywhere. I don't want to drive anywhere in town and see a campground.
Go to Minnetonka County and just go.
okay, but
fair enough.
if you can't see anywhere in town, you can do this. But Warren Luke has ground all the way out to where the Shouse is going.
Right.
That's all on Turtle
I don't want to
Creek.
see that Shouse either.
That,
Did I say that out loud?
You
I
did.
just did, didn't I? Well, you said you can't change ugly.
you can't zone
So,
ugly.
no,
Travis said that, I didn't.
You said it really loud, but I'm not a fan.
We have, Assams have 280 acres in the whole Turtle Creek area out there. Because he's got everything to the township road. And then we have other folks that annexed in east of the township road, all the way out to the sewer treatment plant. The city's got how many acres right on the corner there north of the interstate?
That'd be a good spot for.
yeah, we got 5 acres there,
5 or 7 acres there of flat ground.
yeah.
Again, would be-
Through it, yeah.
I mean, could be,
That's in municipal campground.
it could be your, I'm just saying, there's,
We're not having a municipal
Right.
one, I'm just
you're
saying.
not, you're not gonna see somebody come in and put a campground on South Main. But again, I mean, another piece of it is, Cressman's have 180 acres along the interstate out there by the American, off of Diamond Trail.
Yeah.
Again, could be for the transient, not just the workforce people, but the people travel into the hills and they want a campsite to stay in. It'd be a perfectly good place to put in a campground.
Yeah, but apparently we can't just tell them this is the one spot you could do it.
No, you
I don't
can't.
want to drive down my Colton Road because I can see, all that. I don't want to see a campground.
It might be in the city limits and it might,
Yeah, I don't.
Well,
Buffalo chips kind of the same thing.
right now,
You know, Lennox is getting rid of theirs.
adjust the maintenance and the issues with.
right
it's
now,
not
you could pull out of your
cost
driveway.
Isn't that cost efficient?
I know, it's that, well, that's county luckily, but I know they
City
have
lucky, because right now they can
Yes,
put a
it's
campsite in the
city-owned,
county.
yeah.
But I know that they have water issues there, which is good for me, but yeah, because I hear the church was gonna go there at one time, way back, Gorman's church was gonna go there, and I hear there was water issues.
I don't know.
Yeah, if they put a campground there, I swear.
I mean, I'm torn both ways, because one of me is like,
Does every town need a campground?
It's not likely to show up anyway.
right, my first thing is it likely should, probably, may not, probably not.
Well, do you need a reason to be able to tell them no? I mean,
You say it's not in our regulations.
we don't allow, I mean,
We don't, yeah.
to
We
say we
don't
don't
allow
allow.
We don't allow
Where's
it.
it written in our regulations that we don't allow campgrounds?
Do we have to have
Or
a
it could
red?
be
No, if it's not
conditional
in
use.
there, I'll just tell them, it's not a
We
regulation,
can't
we
even
don't
get a
allow.
conditional use for campground now.
No, we don't, like right now, they're not.
Current regulation, you couldn't get a conditional use or anything to do
No,
with
you could
campground.
get, you
No, we
couldn't come and
could
even
create
ask
that.
for it. It'd have to be
We
in a
allow them
regulation.
with it, you know.
Well, that is a good point there. Well, part of this does say that it would still require conditional use.
Right.
Correct.
In any of
Got
those
a permitted
areas,
All of them.
still is a
require
conditional use in
conditional
any
use.
area.
If we do even
If we
pass
go
any of
forward,
this, they
it would have
all
to come
require
from the board
conditional
anyway.
use, none of it's
Come from the board
permitted.
anyway.
Before we approve it,
Before we can-
whomever's here.
Right.
Before we would approve their campsite.
I say put it in a folder, file it.
Put it with
for when
swimming
it comes
pools.
up. If it ever comes up. We have better things to worry about.
That's what I mean, I'm good with it.
Kind of like a pool.
Are you good with cleaning up the verbiage in the manufactured home? Because that's just worthless verbiage, because it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah, I
permitted
think-
anyway. I think we need to clean that up.
That,
So,
I agree with that.
Yep.
yeah,
Well,
we'll
we already-
just do no action
We already
on
agreed to
seven,
that.
seven.
We already agreed we're doing that one.
That
Right,
was-
yeah,
that
yeah,
one was
that's
a
good.
I'd like
yes.
to back out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
just be no
we
action
need a
on
motion
seven,
to
seven,
end
five,
this
so.
going. If we want to just have it as a no action on 775, that's fine.
Does that work for everyone?
Work for me.
And
for me.
we'll put it in the folder with swimming pools.
Yeah, put it right beside the stone pool.
All right. We're done with Mr. Clarke. Teresa, you have anything to add to your
I don't really
report?
have anything to add unless you guys have questions. I did put a little blip in there about Kelly Avenue. You know, we're looking at possibly a project along there. We've been talking with the homeowners. You know, they got drainage issues going on there. They've got water and sewer issues with their piping, so we're trying to figure out whether to do a Old Street project, a Part Street project, drainage project. We've had a couple meetings with them. We've had ISD do a drainage study. Obviously, you know, right now they have no curb and gutter or storm sewer system at all along Kelly Avenue. It's just an asphalt mat on there. So obviously that's why they got a lot of drainage problems. But even the water and sewer, like I said, infrastructure underneath, it's old. We're having a lot of reports of breakage and stuff. So we would like to fix that. Anyway, they have tasked ISG with coming up with, you know, maybe what kind of a project. Obviously, those people got, you know, it's been an established neighborhood, they've got, you know, nice full trees that are
Probably.
on their property. I mean, actually, they're in the boulevard area, but they're using it as their property. They would like to see a project, and they agree, they'd like to see a full project that fixes both things, not just a drainage, but, you know, fix everything. But they want it to be as least invasive as possible to save as much boulevard as we can. So one of the proposals ISG come up with is a one-way design, where obviously you don't need to have that, you know, you can cut down on the street width, which will cut down on, you know, the boulevard area you need, but still incorporate, what they're proposing, still incorporating sidewalks on both sides, because we've had the discussion, put sidewalks, one sidewalk can be put on this side, that side, who gets it, who doesn't get it? Same thing with parking, because we've talked about with them, you know, parking, do we do just one side of parking? Well, who gets the parking, who doesn't, you know? This design incorporates, like I said, you know, kind of a narrower, you know, just for the one-way traffic, but it will allow parking on both sides and sidewalks. So what the council would like to do is we're gonna try a trial run on the one-way, so we are going to
One-way
basically.
traffic.
Huh?
Interesting, one-way traffic.
Yes, that'll be our first one-way,
Which
if we do
way?
this.
Which
huh?
way then?
We would go from,
Yeah, can we put a
Second Street
roundabout at
south.
both ends of it too while we're at it?
Second Street
Second
South?
Street to the south.
so we're gonna, basically, we're going to start, you know, we'll put up some signage and some painting some lines and kind of just give them the feel of how, we're gonna do a trial run. Get feedback from the residents there, see if they want to move forward with the project. You know, that'll get assessed to them
Which street is
and go
it?
from there. So, just
Teacher Road.
forewarning you, we're gonna do a
Teacher
trial
Road.
run one way.
What's the name of the street?
Hmm?
I always call it
Yeah.
Teacher Road, Kelly,
Kelly
the
Avenue.
one across from the park.
Yeah, yeah.
Teacher Road is what
Can
we
we,
call it.
can we,
Teacher road.
can we try that one-way street next on Part G?
Yes, that has some
Oh,
parking
parking is a
issues
bugger.
too, and some, yeah. Yeah, we need that.
They're one side up there.
That'd be tough though,
Yeah, they're-
because that's a long one to
There
do
are
No
one
parking
way.
up there.
There is, there on, whatever, I don't know if it's the south side,
South side allows
I think
or
it's
parking.
north side allows parking.
Right.
South side does not allow parking, but everybody does anyway.
South side doesn't, or north?
South side allows parking, north side
Does
doesn't.
not, yeah.
Because the no parking signs are too far apart. Everybody thinks it's just.
There,
That one spot too, right,
Yeah.
the sign is what, I've seen them park there too. Yes, I've seen them on both sides and whatnot, but, so, just gonna give you a heads up
Including
with that, we'll
FedEx.
probably do that probably mid-July through mid-August. We wanna try to get it wrapped up before school starts and whatnot, and we'll get feedback from
That is
them.
the
and-
best way to go though, is from second, because everybody would turn that way and
I
not.
hope they're gonna be generous with warning permits, warning tickets.
I think, during this trial, it'll be a learning curve for everybody in town.
All right, if nobody on Colton Road gets a ticket for speeding, they better not get one-way tickets
Then
on
they
that
should,
road.
yeah.
When, how old is
That
that?
city maintained.
How old is that development? When was that put
Oh,
in, do you know?
geez.
Is that
Back in the
seven-
80s.
Is that?
I was gonna say
That's why it's
70s.
Teacher
Yes,
Road.
mid or
Fisher was
80s,
on
yeah.
there, Comus was on there,
Yeah.
all the teachers,
I
UTAC,
think
they all lived
right,
on
at least
there.
that, yeah.
That's when they built it, yeah.
Okay.
That would be my guess, it's been in there quite a while.
It was
Um,
before
well,
then.
it was-
They were there in the 80s.
Yeah, it was before
Well,
the
I
80s,
think-
because I graduated in 85, and it was forever ago.
Late 70s or
I'm
80s.
older than dirt, I know.
It's forever ago. So yeah, so look forward to
All right.
that. As a writer, unless you have any questions on anything else that I have, that's kind of the one big thing that I'm going to point out to
That'll
you.
be cool.
You're up.
Oh, I make a motion to adjourn. Had to catch my trace
I have a
out.
motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
My trace cell was flying around in my head and I had to catch it.
Your what cell?
It's called my trace cell. My friend Pam always said it was my trace cell when I can't think of something. She goes, your trace cell is running around in your head.